Very good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. All the big stories from India and across the world coming up in the next 30 minutes. I'm Ashwarya with you. Let us start the Breakfast News with the top headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Vladivostok today. Prime Minister Modi to also address the 5th Eastern Economic Forum meet. National Commission for Scheduled Tribes to hold discussions on declaring Ladakh a tribal region. Home Minister Amit Shah meets a Panchayat delegation of Kashmiris, assures restoring communication in the region in the next 15 days and full statehood when normalcy returns. Karnataka Congress leader D.K. Shivakumar arrested in connection with the case of alleged money laundering to be produced before the court today. Enforcement Directorate had summoned him for questioning over the last 4 days. Government's further push to the banking sector. Union Cabinet approves over 9,000 crore rupees capital infusion in the IDBI Bank, amount to be given by government and bank's parent LIC. In a major boost to the sugar industry, ethanol price hiked by up to 1.84 rupees. And the Chandrayaan-2 lander Vikram inches closer to the moon's surface, successfully completes the last maneuver on the lander. Lander Vikram's descent on the lunar surface scheduled on Saturday. Our top story is from Russia, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Russia on a 2-day visit to attend the 5th Eastern Economic Forum. The Prime Minister will also hold summit-level talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. His visit to the Russian Far East region is the first by an Indian Prime Minister. Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Shivakumar said in a tweet that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was warmly welcomed at the Vladivostok airport on his 3rd bilateral visit to Russia. In Vladivostok, Prime Minister Modi will attend the 5th Eastern Economic Forum as the chief guest at the invitation of President Putin. While several MOUs and B2B agreements are expected to be finalized by business leaders on the sidelines of the summit, at least 12 will be exchanged in the presence of Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Prime Minister Modi will also hold the 20th India-Russia Annual Summit with Putin. And a special stamp to commemorate Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary will be released as part of efforts to boost cultural cooperation. And Prime Minister Modi said that an innovative app to popularize yoga will also be inaugurated.
I said the Eastern Economic Forum therefore gains in importance not only because we would like to develop strong economic and commercial relations. Many of the resources are something India needs in the near future, but it is also because of the opening of the Northern Sea route, the Arctic route to Europe, which because of climate change and global warming is now much easily accessed as compared to even 20 or 30 years ago, and also the possibility of oil and gas supplies from the Arctic. So there are a number of reasons why we are looking at the Eastern Economic Forum. Coking coal, obviously oil and gas, diamonds, timber, tourism. And from our perspective, we are also looking at the possibility of farming and also of manpower exports. There is a serious shortage of manpower in that part of the world.
And let's get all the updates from Akhilesh Suman, our colleague who is joining us on the phone line. He's tracking all those developments so very, very closely. A very good morning, Akhilesh. Prime Minister Modi was warmly welcomed at the Vladivostok airport on his 3rd bilateral visit to Russia. And it is a very significant visit considering the fact that Prime Minister Modi will attend the 5th Eastern Economic Forum as the chief guest as well, and will also hold a 20th India-Russia Annual Summit with President Putin. How do you look at Prime Minister Modi's visit to Russia?
Right, Ashwarya. But before going to the details of the contours of the visit, I'll just take you to the brief, what are the itinerary of Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. So around 9:30, he has be leaving Indian time. I am telling you, around 9:30 in the morning, he is leaving for shipbuilding industry. That is actually the factory where shipbuildings are made. And other than that, after 2 hours, 11:30 Indian time, they will be having a summit level meeting. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Putin. The meeting will go for around 2 hours. And after the commencement of the meeting, there will be a statement to the press also by both the dignitaries. Around 4:30 Indian time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with President Putin, will go to see an exhibition that is called Street of the Far East. That is important in a way that the exhibition will showcase what is the whole area of Vladivostok is about. And because you know that this is the first visit of any Prime Minister of India to those areas of Russia that is called Far East, that is near to Arctic. And Arctic is a place that is coming up in a big way as far as natural resources and especially the oil and gas resources are concerned. So I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi today is taking in a way that understanding the area of Russia. And other than that, you know, there are two aspects of this visit. One aspect is strategic. Strategic in a way that the way, you know, after abrogation of Article 370, Pakistan and China tried to shift the world opinion in certain ways, but that was defeated at every forum. So I think this cooperation between Russia and Russians were very supportive of us everywhere, right from making a statement and also in a United Nations Security Council. So that also has become a very strong gelling point between India and Russia because they are friends of all weathers. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi says privileged partnership between India and Russia. So it's a strategic issue. Other than that, it is also an opportunity to expand our cooperation in more economic areas. Like generally we understand that India-Russia is for defense cooperation. But this time I think there will be an opportunity that both countries will start thinking, and actually they are going to make a roadmap for 5 years how to exploit the oil and gas resources in Russia that is primarily based in this part of the country. So that is another thing. Agriculture is one thing that Russia wants cooperation from India because India is good at agriculture and Russia is shortage of population who can work in those areas. So agriculture may be one of the major, you know, areas of cooperation. And other than that, there are human resource export. You know, that we have very many skilled persons who can go and support Russian, you know, small scale industries and especially the industries like diamond processing. So I think there are the three aspects of economic and one is a strategic that is there between India and Russia.
All right. So PM Modi and Russian President to firm up a 5-year roadmap for deeper cooperation in various sectors apart from signing a number of treaties, a number of MOUs as well. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates on that big story. And on to the other big story that we are tracking today, a meeting of the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, the Home Ministry and Tribal Ministry will be held today to discuss if Ladakh can be declared a tribal area. Now, this meeting comes amid a growing demand from the leaders in Ladakh for according a tribal area status to the region. In a memorandum to Tribal Affairs Minister Arjun Munda in the month of August, BJP MP from Ladakh, Jemyang Sering Namgyal, had said that the region is a predominantly tribal area with the tribals making up to 98% of its population. He also said that after Centre's announcement to make Ladakh a union territory, the biggest concern of the tribal population here is to protect its identity, culture, land and economy. The NCST also wants to know why none of the union territories with a predominantly tribal population, be it Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep or Dadar and Nagar Haveli, is a part of the 5th or the 6th schedule of the Constitution. And on to some other news. The Union Minister for Culture and Tourism is on a 3-day visit to Leh to look into tourism and cultural opportunities in the Ladakh region, which was recently declared a union territory. The minister first held a round of meeting with the local culture, tourism and archaeological survey officials. Leh Hill Council apprised the Union Minister about the existing infrastructure and the requirements of the region for overall development. The meeting was also attended by Chief Executive Councillor of the Ladakh Hill Council, Gyal Wangyal, Ladakh MP Jamyang Sering Nangyal and Ladakh Divisional Commissioner Saugat Biswas. And the Tourism Minister also met with the industry stakeholders here. And at Panch and Sarpanch in Jammu and Kashmir, all of them who are vulnerable to threats from terrorists will get police security and an insurance cover of 2 lakh rupees each. Now, this assurance was given by Home Minister Amit Shah to a delegation of Sarpanch and Panchs from Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. The Home Minister also assured the team comprising 20 members from the Jammu region and Kashmir Valley that at least 5 youths from each village of the state will be given government jobs in the next coming months, and the demand for increasing the honorarium of the Panch and Sarpanchs will be considered.
The Sarpanchs assured the Home Minister that they would wholeheartedly cooperate in the conduct of the BDC elections, which the Home Minister said would happen in the next 2 months or so, and all the funds would be available to them. There would be provision for providing insurance cover, life insurance cover to the Sarpanchs. There would be jobs available for 4 to 5 youth in each of these villages, and the government would actually travel down to the villages, and it will be through the medium of the Sarpanchs that the preference and the priorities of the people would be decided. The job appointments would be made absolutely on merit without any consideration whatsoever, so that the kind of mindset and conditioning which has happened as a result of the decades of dynastism can be done away with.
And as part of the BJP's public awareness program over the centre's move to revoke the provisions of Article 370, Home Minister Amit Shah and party's working president JP Nadda met with former Jammu and Kashmir Governor Jagmohan on Tuesday. And India thwarted Pakistan's attempt to raise the Kashmir issue on the global stage yet again. A parliamentary delegation from India scuttled an attempt by Pakistan on Tuesday to rake up human rights issues in Kashmir at the UNICEF South Asian Parliamentarian Conference on Children's Rights Convention in Colombo. Now, reacting sharply to the Pakistan's raising of the issue, Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi reminded the Pakistani delegation of their country's internal situation related to human rights, the plight of minorities, and legislations such as the blasphemy law. He also said that it was highly unfortunate that at a child rights conference organized by the UNICEF, Pakistan tried to internationalize the matter of Jammu and Kashmir, asserting that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Now, this comes, remember, just 2 days after India stalled Pakistan's move to raise Kashmir issue at the South Asian Speaker Summit in the Maldives. And India and the Maldives on Tuesday signed a treaty on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. The agreement was signed after External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar held delegation-level talks with his Maldivian's counterpart in Mali. Now, this treaty that has been signed aims to enhance the effectiveness of both the countries in investigation and prosecution of crime through cooperation and mutual legal assistance in criminal matters.
With nearly half the world's population projected to reside in the Indian Ocean Rim countries by 2050, nowhere else in the world is the pursuit of economic prosperity and physical security in the midst of competition, contestation and change more intense than in the Indian Ocean. It is therefore only natural that the Indian Ocean region faces the most difficult challenges in the domains of traditional and non-traditional security.
And on to the other big story. With a view to increasing the IDBI Bank's capital base, the Union Cabinet on Tuesday approved over 9,000 crore rupees capital infusion in the bank. Now, of this amount, the government will provide 4,557 crore rupees as a one-time recapitalization to the bank. And the LIC, that is the Life Insurance Corporation of India, will infuse the remaining amount, that is 4,700 crore rupees.
IDBI बैंक सरकारी बैंक थी और आपको पता है कि पिछले साल LIC ने 51% शेयर्स उसके लिए और गवर्नमेंट आज भी 49% शेयर्स उसमें रखती है। इसकी कैपिटल एडेक्वेसी बढ़ाने के लिए 9,000 करोड़ रुपए देने की आज योजना बनाई है। 9,000 से भी ज्यादा तो LIC 4,700 करोड़ देगी, लगभग वो 4,743 करोड़ एंड 4,557 करोड़ सरकार देगी।
And in another major cabinet decision, the government announced an increase in the price of ethanol procured by the public sector oil marketing companies. The price of ethanol derived from C-heavy molasses has been increased from 43.46 rupees a litre to 43.75 rupees a litre, and for B-heavy molasses to 54.27 rupees per litre from the 52.43 rupees a litre earlier price. The increased prices will be effective from 1st of December 2019 to 30th of November 2020.
देश में चीनी उद्योग को, शुगर इंडस्ट्री को एक सस्टेनेबल हैंड होल्डिंग करने के लिए, निरंतर हैंड होल्डिंग करने के लिए सरकार ने 2 प्रमुख कदम इस बार उठाए। व्हाट आर दे? शुगर जूस से, सिरप से भी, पहले सी हैवी, बी हैवी, पिछले बार शुगर केन जूस तक था। इस बार हमने कहा शुगर सिरप से भी कोई, शुगर ना बनाते हुए शुगर सिरप कोई बनाता है, उसमें से भी एथेनॉल बनाता है, तब भी हम उसके एथेनॉल खरीदेंगे। इस बार महत्वपूर्ण फैसला ये किया है, शुगर बन भी जाए, शुगर को अगर फिर वो प्रक्रिया में डाल के एथेनॉल बना के हमको देंगे, तब भी उसको हम खरीद लेंगे और खरीदने में प्राइस भी अच्छा देंगे। पिछले दिनों में जो प्राइस होती थी, सारे सेक्टर में हमने प्राइस को बढ़ाया है इस बार।
And in breakfast news, we'll take a very short break. We'll be right back with more news on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. The 14th Conference of Parties, that is the COP14 to United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, is currently underway at Greater Noida. The core agenda of the 12-day conference, which began on Monday, is to reverse land degradation and its outcomes while accelerating positive achievements for the people and for ecosystems. NGOs and civil society liaison officer of UNCCD, Marcos Montorio, said that India has been doing amazing work in combating land degradation, desertification and drought. He praised India for implementing a lot of projects at both the local and national level. He said that NGOs and civil society can contribute in a large way towards realizing the objectives of COP14 as they work on the field and implement projects to protect and rehabilitate land. Delegates from 196 countries are participating in COP14. The parties to the convention will agree on the actions that they will take over the next 2 years and beyond to get the world on a sustainable development path. And on to the other big story we are tracking today. India's moon lander Vikram is all set to land on the moon surface on 7th of September, with the Indian Space Research Organization, or the ISRO, completing the second and final deorbital preparations successfully this morning. The 9-second deorbiting maneuver was executed at 3:42 a.m. using the onboard propulsion system. And with this operation, the required orbit for the Vikram to commence its descent towards the surface of the moon is achieved. Now, the touchdown on the moon's south polar region will be between 1:30 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. on 7th of September. Following the landing, the rover will roll out from Vikram between 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. on 7th of September and then carry out experiments on the lunar surface for a period of 1 lunar day, which is equal to 14 Earth days. The mission life of the lander is also 1 lunar day, while the orbiter will continue its mission for a year. And other big story we are tracking, Enforcement Directorate, or the ED, arrested senior Congress leader DK Shivakumar in a money laundering case. He was arrested under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act following a 4-day-long interrogation in New Delhi. Case against Shivakumar was registered on the basis of a charge sheet filed by the Income Tax Department. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu attended a prayer meeting held in the memory of former Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in New Delhi on Tuesday. The Vice President said that Arun Jaitley has left his mark in India's history, and he expressed hope that his life and legacy would inspire others. He was accompanied by leaders of various political parties, including Union Ministers Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari, Ravi Shankar Prasad and Dharmendra Pradhan. And in a series of tweets, Vice President Naidu said that Jaitley will forever be remembered as one of the most prominent architects of India's socio-economic resurgence. He said that his repertoire of knowledge and grasp of both national and international issues made him different from others. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also paid tribute to senior Congress leader and former Union Minister Jaipal Reddy at a prayer meeting that was held in his memory at the Ambedkar International Centre in the national capital. Apart from the Vice President, many Union Ministers and senior leaders of various political parties attended the meet, and addressing the gathering, Vice President Naidu said that Reddy's political life should become a role model for other politicians, and that he was a man of integrity who dedicated his life in the service of the common people.
Handicapped by polio, he never let it dampen his spirits by his words, deeds and accomplishments. He epitomized the real meaning of differently abled and proved to be extraordinarily able. The physical disability did not make any difference to his indomitable spirit. His life was a saga of irrepressible, creative spirit that transcended all obstacles to soar to great heights. We used to sit side by side, so I used to observe him on each and every occasion. His political life should become a role model for other politicians, irrespective of ideologies. Even both of us being so close, we also used to differ at times, but at the same time we used to agree to disagree and move on. He was an upright person and a man of integrity who dedicated his life in the service of common people.
Let's get you some international news now. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Tuesday lost his first major vote in Parliament on Brexit as rebel MPs from his own Conservative Party sided with the opposition to take control of the House of Commons business in a vote that went against Johnson, 328 votes to 301. The Commons got through a crucial motion that demands a debate on seeking a further extension from the European Union to the 31st of October Brexit deadline if no withdrawal agreement is in place by mid-October. With the 21 of the Johnson's own party MPs voting against the government, the prospect of the bill to block a no-deal Brexit clearing on Wednesday became more of a reality. Johnson would need the support of two-thirds of Parliament to schedule an election, which could happen as soon as 14th of October. It would be Britain's third general election in 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let there be no doubt, Mr. Speaker, about the consequences of this vote tonight. It means that Parliament is on the brink of wrecking any deal that we might be able to strike in Brussels, because tomorrow's bill would hand control of the negotiations to the EU, and that would mean more dither, more delay and more confusion. And it would mean that the EU themselves would be able to decide how long to keep this country in the EU. And since I refuse to go along with that plan, we are going to have to make a choice, Mr. Speaker. I don't want an election. The public don't want an election. I don't believe the right honourable gentleman wants an election. But if the House votes for this bill tomorrow, the public will have to choose who goes to Brussels on October the 17th to sort this out and take this country forward.
And in some more international news, weakening slightly but still packing a powerful punch, Hurricane Dorian churned along the southeastern coast of the United States on Tuesday as the storm's death toll in the Bahamas rose to 7. Hurricane Dorian carved a path of destruction through the Bahamas, and relief officials were preparing for a humanitarian crisis after one of the most powerful storms ever to hit the islands, with the scale of disaster as yet unknown. The exact toll of devastation in the Bahamas will not be clear until the storm completely passes and rescue crew can get on the ground. Dorian has battered the Bahamas for the past 3 days, and Bahamas Prime Minister has called Dorian as one of the greatest national crises in the history. Meanwhile, the Miami-based National Hurricane Center in the US said that the center of the storm was moving nearly parallel to but offshore of the east coast of central Florida. The Category 2 storm has begun to lash the Florida shore, and storm surge warnings are posted all the way to North Carolina. All right, let's get you some sports news. Roger Federer was locked in a tough battle with Grigor Dimitrov and was eventually knocked out of the US Open by the Bulgarian. After winning the first set 6-4 comfortably, Roger Federer dropped the second and the fourth set with the identical scoreline of 6-4 and then took the third 5-3. It is the first time that Dimitrov has beaten Roger Federer in 8 tries, and next he'll face the 5th ranked Medvedev, who defeated Stan Wawrinka earlier on Tuesday. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.